attack. And what they mean by that is that it's not
the recent government protests in Russia is a little convenient. What's your take?
Yeah, I mean, there are always sort of from what they've seen before, and so that can inspire the copycat variety.
I want to get your reaction on this real quick. We have about a minute left to these comments indicating that this is a false flag attack, or at least that the timing of the terrorist attack following the recent government protests in Russia is a little convenient. What's your take?
Yeah, I mean, there are always sort of conspiracy theorists. Whenever there's an attack, people will say it's a false flag attack. And what they mean by that is that it's not actually perpetrated by a terrorist, but rather it's perpetrated by the government and pinned on the terrorists. And the reason why people think that there are false flag attacks is because generally terrorism backfires on the perpetrators and it actually helps out the government. There tends to be a rally around the flag effect. The public tends to throw their weight behind the executive of the country, and very often the national military will go even harder after the terrorists. And so because it's counterproductive for the terrorists, people conclude wrongly that the terrorists didn't commit it, that it was actually done by the government. But I can, put people, I can clarify that right now and say that false flag attacks are exceedingly rare. And basically, it's an ideology more than anything empirical.
Thank you so much, terrorism expert Max Abrams. We appreciate your time today.
All right,
Sure.
Shalom. First, I'd like to start by saying all praise to Yahweh Shema Shai, double honors to the elders and apostles that rule well, and salutations to the brothers that's doing the truth with sincerity. Now, as you can see, he explained what a false flag attack is, and then he put his he gave the truth on it, and then he put his disinformation in it. So we're gonna look up what a false flag attack is. It says false flag. The contemporary term false flag describes covert operations that are designed to deceive in such a way that activities appear as though they are being carried out by entities, groups, or nations other than those who actually planned and executed them. And, to be honest with you, that is what's happening. A false flag attack is a attack from the government, in which he said it wasn't. That because the government and it's been coming out. You just got to pay attention to the news. It's been coming out that all these terrorist organizations is being funded by America, and Saudi Arabia is in bed with that, and other nations are helping forward that agenda. So these so-called terrorist attacks is being orchestrated by preferably the U.S. or the elites, because the elites is what's really controlling everything. And to bring about help bring about this new world order, because that's the ultimate agenda. But yeah, all this is being orchestrated by the elites ultimately, and then he put in some different disinformation. I'm gonna replay it real quick.
A rally around the flag effect. The people think that there are false flag attacks is because generally terrorism backfires on the perpetrators, and it actually helps out the government. There tends to be a rally around,
and it usually does help out the government. Auto ab KO.
the flag effect.
Well, it always helps out the government.
The public tends to throw their weight behind the executive of the country, and very often the national military will go even harder after the terrorists. And so because it's
Right, and with the national military going harder behind the terrorists, that's turning everybody nation into police states basically, because it's stemming from the heads, the elites, and that's how they operate over here in America. And America be conducting false flag attacks in these other nations also, which has these nations and these nations be knowing that be going on, but it's rousing the nations up, man.
productive for the terrorists, people conclude wrongly that the terrorists didn't commit it, that it was actually done by the government. But
Right, and no, the people that they call them conspiracy theorists. Conspiracy just mean to breathe together. I looked it up. It says mid 14th century from Anglo-French conspiracy, old French conspiracy. I see, yeah. Conspiracy is a plot. From Latin conspirationum, nominative conspiratio, agreement, a union, an unanimity, it's like a noun of action from conspire. See, conspire. Right. Earlier and same sense was conspiration. Conspiration, early 14th century, from French conspiration, 13th century, from Latin conspirationem, an Old English word for its, okay, conspire. Right here, late 14th century, from Old French conspire, how do you say it? From Latin conspirare, to agree, unite, plot, literally to breathe together. From come with or together, spirare, to breathe, right? To breathe together, meaning, or perhaps the notion is to blow together musical instruments, i.e., to sound in unison, right? To breathe together, meaning, more than one person comes up with a plan or a plot and they carry it out. That's what the 9/11 attacks were about. That's what a lot of these so-called terrorist attacks that's happening in America is all about. And a lot of these nations are experiencing that because of the U.S. Because you got to remember, the U.S. is funding these terrorist groups and making these Al-Qaeda and paying these nations, they call it a proxy war, where you fund a group of mercenaries or a group of people that want to fight for you. You fund them, they go and fight for you. You just in the back pulling the strings. So, but yeah, ultimately, yeah, man, that's what that is, man. Let me go back to him.
I can, put people, I could clarify that right now and say that false flag attacks are exceedingly rare. And basically, it's an...
He say they rare. They're not rare. They happen all the time.
Ideology more than anything empirical.
Thank you so much, terrorism expert Max Abrams. We appreciate your time today.
Sure.
Right, so, they put a little bit disinformation up in there. But this is Micah chapter 2, verse 1. Woe to them that devise iniquity and work evil upon their beds. The elites, man, because the elites is really controlling everything and pulling these strings because they trying to bring in this new world order. And, it's prophecy that all this was going to be happening anyway. It says, when the morning is light, they practice it, because it's in the power of their hand. Right, they got the money, they got the monetary policy, they got the resources to conduct these terrorist attacks. And they covet fields and take them by violence, right? And they rape, rob, and murder. They stole everything from us. They took our lands, and now they're trying to take the other nations' lands. Why you think Libya got took over, man? They actually take them lands over, and they take the resources from them lands. So Syria and Assad is next, and then they're trying to take Iran. It says, and take them by violence, right? And them terrorist attacks is a prelude or a catalyst, to the agenda. And houses and take them away, so they oppress a man in his house, even a man in his heritage, right? And ultimately, they did that to us, man. It says, therefore, thus saith the Lord Yahweh, behold, against this family do I devise an evil, from which ye shall not remove your necks, neither shall you go haughtily, for this time is evil. Right? So we're living in an evil time. So these terrorist attacks, these false flag attacks, this agenda, ordo ad chaos, to bring it in this new world order, is all a part of biblical prophecy. But Esau himself is going to be caught up in it, man. It says, therefore, thus saith the Lord Yahweh, behold, against this family do I devise an evil, you Edomites, from which ye shall not remove your necks. So all these traps that they done set, the Lord going to have it to where they get trapped in their own traps. Neither shall ye go haughtily, for this time is evil. Right, we're living in the evil times, man. Let me see. This is 2 Ezra chapter 8, verse 50. Let me see if I can get the full chapter. Second Ezra chapter 8, verse 50. For many great miseries shall be done to them that in the later time shall dwell in the world. because they have walked in great pride. And this is misery to these people, because a lot of people are dying from these terrorist attacks, man, because they have walked in great pride. It says, but understand thou for thyself, and seek out the glory for such as be like thee. Right, so we're supposed to understand this for ourselves and seek after those, the rest of the elect. How righteous are we of the elect? But let me go back to where it says that because they have walked in great pride, because of all the wickedness that's being done in these amongst these nations, man. But yeah, that's it for the lesson. All praise to Yahweh Shema Shai. Double honors to the elders and apostles that rule well, and salutations to the brothers that's doing the truth with sincerity. Shalom.